Yeah, the first session of AI Table Talks. This idea came from Bazira, and I think it is very, very cool to be able to have a moment where we sit all around, like we are all around the table, and we discuss about everything about AI and data, everything that we see in the market. I hope that this will help us as a team understand better what's going on in the market, because we can put our brain together. But I also hope that it can help so many other people that would jump into this kind of conversation to learn more about the market of AI, how important data is inside this AI game, and what we can do with it, how we can use the different tools, the different models, the different platforms, because there is so much stuff going on. And most likely, if you're not a tech guy, you kind of get overwhelmed. So I just want to probably start with this kind of hard fact, which is there is so much stuff going on in AI right now, and not so much people are able to understand, because there is a lot of things that are probably too complex right now. So Bazira, do you want to start by sharing your experience and probably present yourself? I forgot to present myself, by the way, so I can start doing it also. So here is the NAS team. I'm Jeremy. I'm the CEO and founder with Florent and Max. And Bazira and Annie are our two new colleagues, and they are helping us to kind of expand from the moment where we created the product to the moment where now we are trying to open it up and connect to the market. So I think that's the brief introduction about all the team. And yeah, Bazira, maybe you want to start introducing yourself, sharing a bit about like your journey, where you come from, and essentially what is your experience with AI so far? What have you seen? And we will keep probably going around the table so everybody can add his own like story about their experience with AI and data.
Yes, so I am Basira. I am 25 years old and I'm originally from Sweden. I am born and raised there, but my parents are from Afghanistan. So I have a multicultural background, and my professional background is in management. I have a bachelor in management and organization, but I also have experience in pedagogy, and psychopedagogy is about how the human brain works and putting that together with how to reach out, how to educate. I have a background in project leading inside this field where we took projects working on how the brains of children works and how to adopt new things and how they will react to that. And we actually found a very good way of doing this. We got very, very good results. And after that, I just went into like doing my master's here in Paris and found NAS on LinkedIn. And I did that by looking into AI opportunities because I was like interesting, but I didn't know where to start. And I was like, okay, this is the way to go for me. And the idea from this AI table talk come from that Jeremy was introducing a lot of AI stuff to me and to Annie, like casually, like in our everyday conversations. And I was like, why doesn't we stream this live? Why doesn't we share this with other people? Because this is the kind of like subjects everyone are talking about. We don't get the right answers. And it was so easy for us to like get the answers from like someone with experience, and doing it so casually. And that's why this idea came up. And yeah, that was like the start of this journey.
Cool. Yeah, maybe Annie, you can go ahead and so with your background, and then we can just jump into more detailed conversation with the guys as well.
Yeah, sure. So a bit about my background. I was Vietnamese and I was born and raised in Vietnam. But then, as my most of majorities of my adult time, I'm actually living overseas. So I got like my business administration bachelor in Australia. I was spent like around 3 years living there, and then after the graduate, I go to Shanghai and China to continue
China.
my study in the Mandarin language and then starting my first job in that country. So it's
Cool.
actually a pretty interesting experience, and that giving me also like multicultural background. And so and after I come back to Vietnam after my 4 years in China, I starting to dive into my business development career. So I was started right back when I come back to Vietnam in 2022. And then I started working in there until now. And for this job, this career path is where I start to have my first interaction with AI. And when I
Mm.
think ever since I starting to know, how useful it is, chat GPT is, it's basically become a part of my, working life. Basically every day I go in, it's one of the first thing I open on my laptop, and
Yeah.
before I start to do anything else, it's have
It's
become a
like Google
habit.
now, right?
Yeah, and it actually since I have ChatGPT, I use much less Google. Basically, you can ask everything here,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. And I really like. But according to like most of the people, when just get to know AI, I just only know how to use the chat, but I don't know anything, more detail or technical, or even know how to utilize the best advantage of AI. So that why
Mm.
when I come across the NAS and I got to talk with Jeremy and I know he was doing this AI thing and I would really got, interested in and like, okay, I want to learn this. I want to know more about this and I want to jump in and, working together and learning together with this. And the journey has been so far very enjoyable. Yeah, until I
Cool.
was here and then
Yeah.
we are very new and like we are two girls who love to learn this thing together. And, we
That's
just,
why it's so good also. Yeah, I think
yeah,
so. I think it's why it's good because coming from different background and having different expertise and experience from the business side or educational side or more technical side is gonna be what's make our conversation great. So really appreciate your introduction, girls. It's cool
yeah,
to have like for us at least. I don't know what you think, Max and Flo, but this idea of like opening up AI to different people that are not technical people that actually don't know how to code but want to take advantage of AI models is a big challenge because it's still so new and when we, as technologists, we approach this stuff, we tend to be a bit more technical. So I guess that the whole topic of this conversation will be really around making it simple for anyone to understand what you can do. Maybe yeah, Max or Flo, you can say a few words on your stories also with AI.
Yeah, definitely. Like just to go back to what you just said, yeah, I think it's very important like to make it easier for non-technical people to try to get a grasp at like what you can do with AI and because chats like is fun. Like you can play with it, you really have like a great interaction. But when you want to apply it to your daily workflows, maybe there are some stuff that you need to do or ways to talk with the AI, a way around like prompting, etc., to get some accurate results. Like I don't know if you already play with like just asking him to like asking the AI to generate some content. Like most of the time, like if you don't give examples, etc., it's very like it's always like looking the same. So there's a ton of
Yeah,
things
sure.
that you can do to improve that. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, on my
That's true.
side, uh, like I have a technical background, and during my so I did a master degree in the UK where I took a very interesting module that it was like about like the learning how the human brain works as well and applying it to so it was around like neural network, but really
Mm.
so talking about the chemistry etc that's happening in the brain and So this was like very interesting. But at that time, like I didn't got like much time to invest in AI. So that's why after some years, like doing a lot of like system administration, playing a lot with that, I thought that I wanted to learn more about AI. And yeah, definitely, like it's very interesting. And today we see that we are playing a lot with it, and we are starting to see that it's not always like very reliable, and it's still like complex to build a reliable workflow with AI.
Trust is hard.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you trust it really?
Yeah. So like when you have a human in the loop, then it's fine because like you can assess what's going on. Is it good? Is it bad? But when you want to ship something to production with which is based on AI, when I mean AI now, it's really LLMs, so natural language. It's still not very easy to like build something that you can trust. But yeah, that's just the beginning of the journey. And yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool. I think we need to come back to those few points that you discussed, Max, and I will let Flo share a bit about this story.
Yeah, I don't know. You can move to the next subject as you have covered the things, I guess, because I have the same opinion as you guys. Yeah, AI changed my life in a way that now I'm using it every day. We don't know yet how to use it well because we're still learning about prompting, about how to interact. Even if it seems easy, sometimes when you have a nice front end and it's integrated to a lot of tools, we still need to discover how to really use it and to know how
to make it our own stuff, right? I think
exactly.
That's exactly how to make it my own.
Yes, exactly. Because we just know the surface. I would say we don't know how. I mean, deep inside, we don't know how it really works. So we still need to learn by doing, by testing, by making experiences and making sure that at the end this is exactly what we want. But it's it's a really interesting topic, as no. It seems easy for guys like us, even if I don't have a technical background, but I know a bit of technical stuff. But no, it seems to be more easy to get into it compared to before, because we have
like you mean 2-3 years ago when we just started. You remember when we just started with AI 2-3 years ago? So girls, for the story, it's quite funny. So we met with that guy called Dennis Rothman. I just had him on the phone earlier today. He's kind of our AI professor, really. You know, this comic book Tintin, this kind of guy, which is the professor that you can have that has so many ideas all at the same time. It's really like, for me, it was the basic image of this guy, the very knowledgeable person with so much knowledge on AI, and we learned a lot with him. Like, he is really our AI teacher, this Dennis. And we had the chance to have a meeting with him, like a training with him, a private training with him. He opened our eyes 2 years or 3 years ago, something like that, on everything. And only now we start realizing everything. Like, we start connecting the dots, like, oh, what he said to us at that time means this. And it was still like uncovering what it really means. Because the essence of AI and the large language models right now that we use, like ChatGPT or anything else, is the transformers. So GPT means generative pre-trained transformers, and the transformers is a system that you take data in, and there is so many layers of information that are collected, and then outputs the text with the better probability of the next word. So that's essentially what it is. Like, AI right now is just a stat model where you predict the next sentence, the next word, the next token. So the thing is to understand is token. So what you do is you predict the next token. And it doesn't really seems obvious that the list of tokens or the list of words that it's going to spit out is going to be coherent. But by this mechanism, it ends up being quite human-like. So the funny thing is, like, for me, the first time I used ChatGPT, I was like, what the hell? It's like really good. I mean, I could have done this kind of piece, but it looks even better. But now, like 2-3 months after that, I started realizing that it was not really sounding like me. So there is like a bias inside our mind as humans also, where anything that is spitting out words, we assimilate them as human, because it has always been human territory, right? To be able to put language out. There's never been something else in the history. So now when you have a machine spitting out words, obviously you're like, oh, it looks like a real human. It's something that actually can be sentient, can have like ways to approach. It's a machine. It's still a machine. It's still a tool. You know, we need to understand that. But how to turn that tool into something useful that actually mimic our way of talking and help us do better writing, help us do better summarizing. All that stuff is actually very, very important, I think. And we are just at the very beginning of the story. So I think the question that we had today is mostly like, is AI for everyone? And I just want to sit on this for a while, because I believe so. I believe that AI is the best technology ever to break the barriers of technology, because you can literally now, what you had to do in coding, now you can do it in natural language, and you can give instructions to your computer in natural language, which was never possible before at this level. And the ability for those AI systems to kind of understand what's the best probable output in text is working for most people. But there is also this paradox of, okay, it's obviously by design, it's a good technology for everyone because it's a text and a chat, and we all know how to chat. A parenthesis on this, you know that so many people are not educated in many parts of the world. So it's also an immense resource for learning. Like right now, everyone in India or in any kind of underdeveloped country with like small villages, they can access to the same technology as the rich guy in New York City doing trading, right? Because it's the same basic technology. So it's really kind of opening up the doors to many different usage of this. But still, if you don't know how to prompt, how to ask, how to query, how to really ask the right question, it can be overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but in your surroundings, we talked about it with Florent also, with our friends. It's people are often like, hey, I don't know what I should do. Like I can do the first sentence, but then how do I follow up? What exactly I need to ask and how I need to ask things is still a big question. So it seems like an accessible technology by design, but at the end of the day, it's not that much accessible, because if it doesn't come to you as, okay, this is in this context of you can use the technology, it's harder to
I think it's just because it's just you need to know some rules of engineering of how to talk with the machine to start working on it. And most of the people, they don't know, I mean, how to talk to a machine to be more accurate, because most of the time when I was talking with my friend about AI, they were lost and they were saying it was not accurate because they didn't phrase it the right way. They just ask something without giving any context, any additional information needed for the LLM to understand. So it's all about education, just how to ask it.
Context. You said it, context. And there is Hamza in the comment that has asked a question like, what is your best go-to prompt ignoring the context? So I'm not sure I understood well the question, like ignoring the context. Like for me, context is key. If you don't bring context to a prompt, to a a question you ask to the language model or to the AI, you're losing so much of the benefits. But the problem is like, you don't want to always copy paste the context, or it's long if you need to type in all the time. So you actually take more time sometimes to go through the chat and ask question one by one than going to a search. Because when you go to a search, you ask a question, you have a list of results, you have options. So Google and search is still good for that because you can access the information, I think, quicker. But if you use the AI and AI chat, you can have it more contextualized and more, more contextualized and more appropriate to your need. So the prompt that I use the most, I think, for me is the rewriting my text with a certain tone. Rewrite or summarize in a few bullet points. But when I ignore the context, which is the question that you ask, Hamza, I think it's you need to understand the bias that comes with not having the context. Like it will come if you ignore like setting up a context before, it will basically be based out of the training and the reinforcement learning. We're going to talk about that in future episode. I think like the power of the reinforcement that OpenAI has done on the technology. They have added humans that are testing and validating everything. So this is, I think, very, very powerful. And it's why now ChatGPT is the best in terms of outputs, because they have also the best resources that have helped refine the model for human touch. So ignoring the context is something you can do. You can just go zero shot. That's what it's called, like zero shot prompting. But you're gonna come. It's gonna come if you don't provide the context. Then the context is gonna be coming from the guy who actually created the model. Who are going to do it.
And then it's gonna sound a little bit too robotic sometimes, and it doesn't sound anything. Sometimes it doesn't sound anything like you want to sound. Like sometimes you want it to be more casual, or more professional, or something like that.
I mean,
but like if you don't give any context, it's really general. Yeah.
For me, it depends of what you want to do, because I was thinking about the question, and it's a good question. Sometimes I'm using it just to have some Python code. Just write me the Python code for, give me the Python code for, and it works. Even if I need to rework a bit the code, it can like spit out the nice code. But it's just for snippet of code. I cannot ask for logic stuff without giving context. It's just like, I would say small pieces could work, but an engine cannot.
Yeah, it's good for small chunks. Yeah, I agree.
Like what you're describing, Florent, like a very good use case is GitHub Copilot, because then it does have the full context, and it's kind of crazy. Like I started again, like I don't know, like I worked, I think it was like yesterday, and I felt at some point there's something wrong. I'm typing too much, and I saw that my GitHub Copilot subscription was off. And like I lost a ton of time like writing stuff, while usually now I think the key I press the most is tabulation, because I just start to write some code and it does understand like what I want to do, and I just have to autocomplete and make sure it's fine.
So you don't even realize that you're using AI because it was just speeding up your time, and when you took it off, then you realized that you had to type again. Okay.
Yeah, it was starting like to be painful, like okay. So no, it's crazy. Like for developers.
So you see,
like
whereas you're in you can be in coding, GitHub Copilot helps a lot. You can be into like business and crafting emails, it helps a lot as well, but you need to put context. So I think it's always a matter of how much time and you need to put to provide the context beforehand. And the GPTs, the new announcement of OpenAI, are here to kind of narrow the context and create like specific purpose chats that I think are going to be much more used and much more easy to use in the future, to have like specific tasks, because a general purpose kind of chat is always tricky because of the context problem. So I think it's what Oh, Zira, you're cutting off in your microphone. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's kind of laggy. Mm.
Do you hear me better now?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, right. The only thing I was gonna say was that I was just listening to all of like you guys talking about AI right now from different like to say different glasses, like from the tech side, from the business side, and then you took examples for different like business tasks, and like we have Hamza asking another thing, and I think that was the lack I was like experiencing when I like started to with AI, and that was that there is not someone talking about their experience about AI and sharing it in a way that for us who are like new to it understands and learn from their mistakes. So everyone who's coming into this world is like starting from zero all the time because we always give like this is the way you prompt the bed. This is the way, but we do not understand why. We don't understand like the real experience behind it, and I think that's a very interesting point because like now you really explained like how you met this guy 3 years ago, but found out what he was talking about today because you had experience from it, and like now Maxime told about the yesterday how he was typing and typing and like all of this, and this is things you learn by experience, and no one is talking about those stuff. So for us, it's very hard to understand why should I use like this prompt page or this prompt thing because we don't understand the context of the thing they
The
are
usage.
presenting. Yeah, exactly, the usage, and I think this is very important, and that's like a very like good channel for this channel is very good for that. So like we're talking about experiences and what we learn from them, and what actually is the usage of the experience of the different stuff in AI. Because I think, like you said, it's still new, but some of us have 3 years experience, and some of us have 0 years of experience, and still I think the experience is like the key because it's so new, so we learn about it through that. And I think AI is for everyone, but I think people need to be better of sharing what the experience actually is about and what they have learned about it. And I think that's the key.
I agree with you. There is so much like, 10 prompts for this or 10 prompts for that, but no context on, And so when exactly do you use this and what
why?
is your iterative experience and why? Yeah, that's true. I think this conversation is good, and we can probably close it for now, as we just try to commit on half an hour discussion. But we already have found out a few points where in my head it's like, maybe Maxime can show us Copilot. Maybe Florent can show us how he's doing for having the Python code and integrate it into a script. Maybe I can share how I'm making my text sound like me because I provide information. So I don't know. I think it's shaping a bit the essence of what we wanted to do today and in the coming days. And let's get used to this kind of conversation and find, as we discussed, Basira, a topic every day that we can drill down into, whether it's like ethical AI or different tools to use or different prompts prompt framework to use, and be very practical, kind of show what things can do in the live format. We can even share our screen and show how the iteration goes and why the first result is not good, what do we say to change the result. And because AI and conversation with those models is a very iterative process. You need to test and learn until you figure out, that's the right stuff to do.
Exactly.
Cool. So let's close the call for today. It was a good call, and I hope that the next sessions will be even more insightful, and we can just drill down a little bit more on everything. Hamza is saying thank you, so thank you too, and bring up your friends and family and colleagues, whatever you want to bring them in the conversation. Everything is here. Like, we are really here to take this daily moment where we sit on this topic and we try to bring all the knowledge and education and examples that we can, so that it can help other people benefit from AI and really make it for everyone. So thank you so much, guys, for the time, and see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.